Well, this is just a quick video just to show my capillary matting tray underneath my bathtub wormery. So I'm just using mind your own business just to kind of make just a green blanket really under there. Creates a kind of damp habitat for frogs, toads, newts, a little bit of protection for them from predators as well as a bit of cover. It's nice during during drought. It still stays a little bit damp as well because you get some leachate from the bin. It's very shady. I've got some ferns in here. They're deciduous ferns, so they've lost their leaves this time of year, but I don't know, it's just sort of an extra bit of green space really. So this is the space underneath the bathtub, and then on top I've got the sedum. Needs a bit of weeding. It really needs kind of replenishing some of these, but it's all established now, so kind of the gardening bit is a secondary compared to getting all the structure in compost bins and digging out bathtubs and getting a system for handling all the waste and things like that. But there you go. So it's you can see a little bit of leachate just from the bath there. I've got a what do you call it, trampoline fabric on there, and then there's the timber. Then I've got old woven polyethylene sacks. That's polycarbonate, sort of conservatory roof. And then these are the wall barn M system trays, so they've got a little bit of irrigation in the bottom as well, so when it rains they're kind of semi-blue roof. It harvests a little bit of rainwater, so it doesn't just purely run through the wormery. I've got some better quality boards. This is just a bit of OSB sheet at the end, which is really saturated, it's falling to bits, but I'll replace that top with buffalo board. And I'll probably make the buffalo boards 250 millimeters, so they're half the size of those M trays. So when you lift the M tray up, there's only 2 boards to lift, and then you've got half a metre of kind of surface of the wormery to feed. I've got a bit of trellis around the back just to kind of dress it up a little bit, but yeah, it's quite good. There's another bathtub under here. That one's more of an ecosystem really, so I don't tend to feed that one so much, but what I do is the tray isn't the full width of the table frame, which is these welded steel table frames which I use as a base for the wormery. So I can just slide the capillary tray, and then these boards here will slide out. I mean, I could put handles on them and dress it up a little bit, and sometime I want to get another one of these tables, cut that bar out there, and then weld it in midway, and even possibly one higher up, so then you've got total access to the base, so you can just lift those up like hatches. Yeah, so for the capillary trays themselves, these are only about 1 inch deep, and there was someone with an allotment plot which they were clearing, and they had a lot of rubber sort of playground or sort of matting, which is quite about 1 metre wide sheets, maybe 6 foot long or something like that. So I cut those to fit into this space, and then that just creates a little bit more depth of moisture under there. And then this is wall shoddy wicking material, so that just holds it nice little depth of moisture under there. And then I drilled a couple of drain holes in each end so it won't overflow and it won't become completely saturated. But it just goes to show, even with that level of light, you can kind of get some plants growing under there. It's just, I mean, some people classify this as a weed, but I mean, it's easy enough to pull up, and it hasn't grown anywhere else other than under here, so I think that's quite nice. And in the spring and summer I do a market store, and I kind of sell those as well, so they're quite nice when they're more established, and especially when they're in terracotta plots, they look quite good. But I like that additional, I mean, this is nice and lush and green and healthy, and it's kind of rewarding just to see life, and I kind of like that fact. I'm using every little space apart from that bit under the end, which needs to have something growing on it, doesn't it? But this would be lovely for ferns, and it's also lovely for rotten timber and fungi and mycelium and all the kind of other kinds of life you'll get in that damp sort of constantly. It's not waterlogged, but what happens is it wicks up into the air spaces in the soil, and it's sort of semi-free draining, but then it's got that moisture as well, so it's a nice little, literally, ecosystem. And then that's another bathtub there, so that's another 210-20 kilos of worm cast, and likewise under there. So these are really efficient, and I like that use of space as well.